is a great transition here. To one that I wanted to hear what you thought. Tossed it over to you.
Sure.
And I think, look, both of us read the headline. Bernie Sanders blames election loss on Kamala Harris listening to billionaires over the working class, and we both agree. I want to say that off the top. I do agree with that headline. Like, I get it, but there is nuance, and we've gotten into this over the years, me and you, a few times, where you keep saying these things, Bernie, but you didn't win elections. You didn't. So we can talk about the same blame game that is correct over and over again, or we can say, how do we actually reach enough people to win elections? Because Bernie didn't do it. He didn't. Now you can say, oh, the Democratic primary was a little rigged, and he was an independent anyway, so it's hard to break in. But still, the way that he chose to run all these things as he's done over the years, he never won. So it's like, and that's not shade at him. We love him. I love him, at least. I shouldn't say we. I love him. I need more discussion around, like, how do you beat Donald Trump? How do you fight back against the worldwide rising tide of anti-immigration, right-wing leaning, right-wing heading? How do you fight back against that with good sound left arguments to get the left sounding like they should and more connecting in a way that gets you to win, I just read this headline and the headlines are designed to fuck you up, right? Obviously. I admit that. So I got. Folks, I got. But even the article just talks, and I guess the article didn't have too many quotes from him either. So I actually kind of felt like the article was, it was quick, like you said, and it snipped up only a few of his words. It's always a longer conversation. You never know.
Yeah.
But I don't care to talk about the fact that Democrats cozy up to billionaires. Of course. It's like, what are we going to do moving forward to win?
Well, so
by the way, let me end on one positive thing. I'll let you go. To me, one positive thing is doing an oligarchy tour for him and AOC. Like, that was good.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I agree. Yeah, but that's completely at odds with what kind of campaign Harris ran. And we have to be honest with what kind of campaign she ran. And she tried to stay neoliberal and tap into just the popular leftist vibe that is in the mainstream culture. So she paid Beyonce.
That's fine, and I agree with that.
Like I shouldn't say she paid Beyonce, because actually there's been a little bit of an
I don't even care about that.
Oh,
stop. Trump's also a sleazebag about that. Give me a break. I don't
even care about that. She cultured the talents, let's say, of Beyonce to
which is fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
But you don't think that's, like, not the fucking point? You know what I mean? Like, aren't you trying to draw the wrong energy? Because
who cares about who's introducing her? It's all about what she was saying to that crowd. She's just getting people into the crowd. Who cares about that? Because she would always have a speech after. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares about that? I agree with you that she needed to. This is what frustrates me. Let me hear what you think of this. The right gets to just be not extremist, but gets to just say crazy shit that they'll never deliver on. Oh, we'll cut $2 trillion with Doge, and they're all fucking these smooth brain weirdos. They always get to be so extremist with their words about what they're gonna do. Why don't the Democrats do that? Say fuck you, Medicare for all. I don't understand. That's what I get frustrated with, and I agree with you. Like, who cares that Beyonce was introducing her? She should have got to that stump and been like, hey, guess what? Medicare for all, eat my shit. Go hard into, like, over promising and giving that vision, because the other side is doing it, and that's a bad excuse.
Sure.
But at least it's selling something in a more exciting way, even if you don't achieve that. You're not selling it in an exciting way. You're just like, hey, we're going to get into power. What are you going to do with healthcare? We're going to try our best to come to a compromise and do a little bit. It's like, no. What the fuck is that, dude? But yeah, go ahead.
Like, sorry. It was with, what was it, Mitt Romney in Massachusetts with Romney Care? Right?
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yeah,
and they gave him shit for it when he was running against Obama in 2012. That was a point of attack. And then Obamacare ended up being very similar to what the fuck Romney Care was. It was like
it already was before the 2012 election. It already was before the 2012 election.
Yeah. But so anyway, so I guess yeah. I'm here for it. I am here for because it does feel like Democrats, like Chuck Schumer, right, like Nancy Pelosi.
No, they're horrible.
They play the polite political game, like it is just a harmless game, which at this point, when you've been brought to the stakes that your opponent has brought you to, you have to just pay that energy in kind, unfortunately. Right? Like, Trump objectively just fucking lies about everything he's going to do on the campaign trail, pops into the popular pulse, gets pushed into presidency, and then delivers on fucking none of it. Now, I'm not saying do the same, but at least appeal to the populist message, which is exactly what Bernie Sanders did. And it's why he got as much movement as he did.
But we circle back to, but again, with Bernie and with Pelosi and with the boring old whatever, we circle back to they either are losing or winning appropriately. Like you keep saying, like, "Bull Pelosi, she gets a freaking," and I see it every time because I donate to certain people or I'll tap into certain things around election time every 2 years. I see it every time. There's a legitimate, like, to her left challenger, and they lose every time in the primary. Every single time, homie.
Yeah, but listen,
and that's a problem.
Why is Pelosi the chair in the first place? If the power...
Because she has had her seat for decades. You got to win the election. You got to win the election. We can talk about what we hope and wish it would be. That's fine. But you got to win with the rules you have now to make that change. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a difference there, yes? You can hope and wish about what it should be. Shouldn't be old people running. Should be more other, whatever the fuck. But there is a way to remove these people by winning the election. We never do.
Okay, but who would you select? Who do they select to lead the Democratic Party in the House? The safest chair. You know what the safest chair is? An electorate that never rocks the boat. Do you understand that, like, the significance of that?
No doubt.
Do you know where she comes from? It's a fucking suburb.
This is why
affluent Democratic suburb of San Francisco.
No doubt.
You're telling me it represents blue collar America? Get the fuck out of here.
No, that's not what anyone's telling you. Take a deep breath, homie.
Right, but like,
stop zeroing in on one person. Zoom out. You gotta win elections.
The House Democrats for as long as I can fucking remember.
I don't know why you're huffing and puffing so much. What I'm saying is you got to win elections. I know you wouldn't disagree with that because that's literally what you have to do. And so, like,
right, but the fact that
take a deep breath and tell me what you would do then. If you could zoom out, stop focusing on one person. Stop. You're not wrong about that. Of course you're not fucking wrong about that. Focus in on how you would make change from the left in a way that you could win elections. How would you do it? Because Bernie's tried it and he's lost. Other people have tried it and they've lost. Go ahead. That's true, though. You say no to something that's fucking true. But go ahead.
That is true. Although you can admit that elections come down to closer margins than any of us would like to admit.
But it doesn't. But you still have to win them.
And if anybody is in a position of power where you can kind of put your thumb on the scale, Debbie Weiserman Schultz, then you can move.
But here's the thing. Also, Bernie has put his thumb on the scale with his influence that he's earned with Biden to be a little more progressive. So that's who cares? We're not talking about putting. I know what you meant by that. Did she throw the election enough that he would have won? Look,
really quick. It's 2020.
Okay.
Bernie Sanders just won the Nevada primary for the Democratic nomination. What happens the Monday before Super Tuesday? Tell me.
I don't care because next time we need him to win. So what are we going to do next time?
You don't even want to talk about it? You don't even want to talk
about
it?
Because what are we going to do next time? Because
a phone call goes out in the middle of
I don't want to talk about it because I agree with you.
Every neoliberal nomination, Pete Buttigieg and the like, drop out and endorse Joe Biden all at once. And guess who wins the election?
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares? That is a concerted effort to deny Bernie Sanders the nomination because they consolidated power behind a specific faction of the Democratic Party that was neoliberal as fuck, which is the reason why we keep losing to Trump in the first place.
Do we think that they broke any laws or rules by doing that? How about that?
No.
Is that a better way to say it?
No.
So then what can you do? Start winning hearts and minds like Biden did somehow by getting them if you're Bernie? What can you do? Because you say that
You
they
can
didn't do anything wrong. So then what can you do?
Okay, but you can appreciate the anger that would be behind
Sure, of course.
losing to Trump, not in one but 2 elections.
Well, first of all,
After
Biden
he
beat
tried
him.
to
First of
overthrow the
all,
government.
don't throw my boy Biden overboard. He fucking won. That's a W over Trump. Period. End of story. Because sometimes you get. But hang on, I gotta. Biden did not lose in 24. I gotta set you straight sometimes. Let's say, okay, you know what? Let's say even if he was on the ballot, he would have lost. I accept that. He won in 20. You minimize that. You like to hype up because you're too angry about this shit, bro. In my opinion. Don't take this the wrong way. But you're so angry about this, it clouds because you want Biden to be such a bad candidate that he lost in 20, and he wasn't. That's a fact because he won. Because he did. Why do you laugh at something that is true?
You're representing me.
All right, but Biden won, yes, in 2020?
Of course you did.
That's the only thing I wanted to represent. That's the only thing I wanted to represent from you. Go ahead.
Any Democratic candidate would have won.
That's not true. That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
I don't.
Yes,
you can't prove that, and I can't prove that. Let's be clear. But that's not true, in my opinion.
Any Democrat would have won.
No,
in 2020.
that's ridiculous. You think Hillary Clinton would have won in 2020?
It's fine.
You think Hillary Clinton would have won?
Yes. She
I'm
might
dying.
be. Fuck off.
That's not
dude.
true,
You're
man.
the
That's not
worst
true.
example. Not HC. And
I
maybe
will not.
Kamala.
I love that because, like, when it comes down to it, we have way more agreements on actual policy. But I think that you got some hate boner. You always have a hate boner for Biden. You just will. And the man actually won an election against Trump, the only one to do so. Actually passed an infrastructure bill. Actually passed a CHIPS bill. By the way, the infrastructure bill was pretty bipartisan. I don't know if you're ever going to see that level in the near future of bipartisanship.
I love the sphere of influence that existed around Biden. I don't love Biden.
What? Say that
and
again?
the only reason...
Fear of influence that what?
Sphere.
Oh, my bad. Sphere.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. I think that if Biden doesn't run again in 24 and he lets the Democratic process take place,
so
they don't lose to Trump.
How do they not lose to Trump? Because
Trump.
Let me say a couple things before you go. Wait. Trump literally, since the last election, Trump literally did January 6th and also got convicted of tons of felonies and got swept up in all kinds of fraud bullshit. So tell me again that all that hung over his head and he still won. How in the fuck he would have lost?
Because you had Biden. Because
what does that mean?
Did you watch the first debate? Did you watch the first? The moment the 24.
Did we watch it together? I feel like
the moment the 24 presidential election was lost to Donald J. Trump was the moment that Biden got on that stage with him.
But there's plenty of time for Kamala to sell, right? I don't. That's
no, not enough.
You tell me. You make the claim. Why is that when it melted down? Okay.
Not enough for a female candidate. I'm sorry. You're talking about
we
America.
need this man to reflect on his Biden hatred. That's what we need this man to do.
I am not here to dismiss the work that Biden did legislatively during his tenure. I have a little bit of a gripe with the money that was spent, but I understand that we had the softest landing of any economy in the world.
I'm convinced. I'm a Biden guy, not a Bernie guy anymore. That's what I am.
I'm gonna kill myself. Is that what you want?
No, I'm just messing around.
You son of a bitch.
I'm just messing around.
Listen, he was more progressive.
I'm joking because I can always bring it back to the baseline of like, oh my gosh, like policy-wise, screwed over-wise too. Not just in 2020, but in 2016. Like, Bernie's our guy, no doubt. He got screwed over in 16 a little bit too. Do you ever think to yourself when we talk about like this, he got screwed over?
He would have won in 16.
I do agree that
20 was his year.
We both do agree that nobody did anything wrong doing it, but we both agree that it's such a bad look and it's so nasty that a bunch of people got together and
the super delegates
in 2020 and like picked Biden when they all just like threw their support behind Biden.
Sure.
Yeah. So like, but we both know that that's not illegal. There's nothing like improper about that by the rules.
Not illegal.
All right, but hang on. Let me. We already talked about that. We're not doing that shit again. We already talked about that. Hang on. Let me finish.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And then, I think in 2016 is that when like Gabby Tulsi Gabbard came to
That
prominence
was the
because she
Debbie
like
Weiserman Schultz.
yeah, because that was
the-
that time too. Yeah, but did we ever see any proof they did anything? I'm open to it. I'm open to it. But
Oh,
was anything
Yes.
was there? Okay, all right. Well, I
Again,
I have
not
no idea what
illegal,
that.
right? Like political parties run their own primaries, so nothing illegal. They
I
were
shouldn't
just
say it like that. That's
putting
fair.
their thumb on the scale.
But how?
were
Did you actually
manipulating-
see how they were influencing? Like,
Well, so it was
I know
multiple
super
things, right? Like the
delegates. Super delegates were
super
annoying as
delegates-
shit. Right. Yep.
super
Because they could just
delegates are
pick
very
whoever they wanted.
problematic. And
Yep.
by the way, they still exist, just to a lesser extent after the 16 debacle. But B,
I remember the
it
super
was the
delegates, yeah.
communication between the sort of hegemony of the Democratic Party and their media
Okay.
outlets.
Okay.
There was very clearly conversation between what should have been independent cable media and political parties.
Okay.
And
So is this in the realm of like
amount-
I can't remember when this was,
So-
but Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton debate question. I don't fucking remember, but it's something.
There's a little bit of that,
bounced
but it was
there, you know?
even when you talk about the I know for a fact the amount of exposure I got to Bernie Sanders in the 15 to 16 presidential sort of primary process was through online media, and almost none of it was through traditional media. Cable television just would not talk
Sure.
to Bernie. They wouldn't.
There's too much commingling and networking that's always happening between the
Correct, yeah.
powers that be that
Right.
they can kind of not
And again, there's
change
not-
any
to me,
votes
there's-
or legally do anything, but they can kind of just push a narrative in a way that stays positive for Hillary,
Yes.
more negative for Bernie.
Yes.
That's totally
Yes.
true. Because I remember being young and watching like
Yes.
those like OG YouTubers that would like I feel like Kulinski he's been around for so long, he was one of them. That would like
Yes.
clip together how the media would bring up Bernie's policies and how they would frame it versus like
Mm-hmm.
a Republican or just like a corporate Democrat. And it was rough. It was always like, oh, he's gonna bankrupt the country.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna get laid off, less money in your pocket, all the beautiful things,
So yeah, to me that was, and it's why too there was a small but very real pipeline of Bernie supporters who got disillusioned in 16 and 20 that went to the Trump side. Like that is a real phenomenon because it's the populist sentiment, but because it got shut down seemingly, at least you could frame it that way, on the left so much that it was, well, I'm going to go with the right-wing populist sentiment, which is Trump. And I still don't know how he's able to sell that with a straight face because he clearly does not give a fuck about anybody earning less than like $350,000 a year. But yeah, that was a real swing, man. Like the anti-vaxxer movement even has a bunch of like Bernie bros from 2016 in it. And
Sure.
it's just because like there's kind of this vague anti-establishment sentiment that kind of bled over into like science and medicine and everything else, which is not entirely untrue, but to reject everything is obviously straight up not intelligent, to say not the word, that's not allowed. You get what I'm saying. Very highly regarded information being abused. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Dude,
I'm
we'll leave it on.
worried.
We'll leave
I'm
it
really
on
worried
this.
for the future of the Democratic Party. I
Oh
am.
my God, what do you? That's putting it mildly. We're all worried for the
Yeah.
country. You kidding me? Forget about the
Yeah.
The Democratic Party needed to figure their shit out years ago. They never did. Here we go. Now we're gonna get it's gonna get real dicey now. The way the
Yeah.
Democratic Party should have been and what they could have saved us from is long ago. Now we're just in it. We're just in it, and we'll see what happens.
Right, it's just damage control. Feels
Also,
like,
reflect on your
Should we-
hatred for Biden. All right, let's go to Trump's.
Stop. Can I just say again, because
Sure.
apparently you just like, your ears just clam up when I say it. Biden
Sure.
was more of a progressive president than Obama was, and I will
That's
say
true.
that
That's true.
more so than Obama with 8 years. Just to be clear.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Although
Yes.
Biden did a lot for like the labor relations board, we've talked about that.
Yes.
So you're yeah.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah.
So okay, so don't
He's a
tell
union
me
guy
I don't
with the
give him fucking
aviators.
flowers.
I'm just fucking with you, man. No
give
worries.
him
I'm
his
literally just
flowers.
fucking with you, man.
Well, I just want to set the record straight.